Okay, so we've got the before and afters on here, okay, or before on the right, after on the left, the chair sort of indicates that, okay?
Yeah.
And what we're looking for really is for you to try and maintain a kind of more stable top half by your lower half working better, more from the backswing in the sort of first session today, okay? So centre-wise in both these cases are good, head is sort of on and behind the ball, hands are just in front, perfect, okay? As the club goes back now, okay, the left-hand one we can see now, we're creating a bit of separation there between that chair leg, okay? And that's enough. It's going to be like you're just sort of leaning to your left side, because now you create this same sort of motion here now. But if we put a line in here, a straight line, there you go, blue. So that's kind of your hip. Should go thinner. There you go, cool. We put that in there now, and watch your kind of hip line there. You can see yourself there, kind of your pocket moving through, and there at the top there, you can see now you've moved through that, whereas this one at the top of the backswing, you kind of moved away from that, okay? So you're creating a bit more separation, okay? And you're not as tipped with your spine. There's still a little bit of tip there, as we can see, but you're not kind of as much as you were there on that right-hand one, okay? So it's not going to suddenly go click and be perfect, but it shows by you changing kind of the way your body's working, we're going to slightly flatten the swing. The fact the club's not quite so high above your head indicates the club now is further behind you, yeah? So it's lower down. If the club was really flat, the shaft at this point would be kind of here somewhere, really low, just because the vision of the camera there, okay? So the club has worked more in the preferred angle we're looking to try and create, hence the reason why we're getting some draw spin now, and that ball coming back, okay? Then into the move into impact now, it's moving the lower half to the left. Now you can see, because your hips work better, how much more your left side's moving this way on that left-hand side. So from here, if we go back to there, as you start moving down, you're able to separate from that green line a lot more, get into a reasonable impact position there on that left-hand one, okay? Head is just in front for me. Ideally, I want that a bit further behind the ball. It's not disastrous with an iron there. You kind of get away with it. Yeah. But with the longer clubs, as you get to about sort of, I guess, 5 or 6 and into the longer clubs, you'd struggle there a little bit. Okay, then through impact, nice full release there, and you get finished nice and balanced up on your left hand side. That's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a very good sort of classic follow-through position. But it's that first move on the way back, working on that lead hip to move around. If the lead hip can work around, you can get your top half and your spine to be a little bit more in that position, as you would if I said you were skimming a pebble or throwing a ball or even hitting a tennis ball with a tennis racket. If I said whack this tennis ball as far as you could, you'd throw it up with your left hand, you'd lean backwards and hit up and whack it as far as you could. You wouldn't sort of lean on your left side and try and hit down on it. The same way you wouldn't try to, if I said try and chop a tree down, you wouldn't put yourself up against the trunk and try and whack it with your face. You'd be back here going whoosh, to get some speed and power. So in most things, your head's got to be more behind. What you're saying?
No, I'm thinking hit it. So I think I have to be down. Yeah. Down and that.
Trackman. You've heard of Trackman, yeah?
Yeah.
So there's a guy on YouTube called Trackman Maestro. I mean, I started watching him in the last few months. He's very good, worth a follow, to be fair. And he says you can get people hitting down on the ball 13, 14 degrees and they still top the golf ball and almost miss it because you don't actually hit down. When you actually come into the golf ball here now, if you actually look at your club as you get down to about here, okay, this is a little bit blurry, but the pros, when they get down, their hands are about here in the golf swing when they're the lowest. From here, actually, to the golf ball, pros' hands are actually doing this and coming up to the golf shot. As they hit the golf ball, they're from here, they're there, and then they go like that, this extension up to the golf ball. Yeah. So they're actually hitting up effectively with their hands, but because the club is here, the unhinging of the wrist, the club is coming down for you. But the big misconception that so many golfers have been taught for years, you must hit down the golf ball. And you literally get people just going, trying to whack down on the damn thing. It's like the club's got to work through. I mean, if you're kicking a football, would you ever think about putting your leg down to kick a football? You swing your leg back, and the fact you've got a kind of a swing from your hips here, you wouldn't go, oh, it down. You just stub your bloody toe, wouldn't you? You're back here and you're kind of swinging up, and in some way, if you're kicking it as far as you could, you're becoming the ball there now. You place your foot there, you've got your hinge, and then your leg is now going to be obviously extending up and through. It's not going to go because you'd hurt yourself, wouldn't you? So you're going to try and kind of feel that kind of extension through. And you look at all the tour players, as I said, at impact, even with a wedge, their head is probably level or just behind the ball. Certainly not as far forward as you had it then. You can see your head trying to sort of get back behind the ball there because it knows it wants to sort of back it up a little bit, okay? To answer your question about ball position, what you were saying there with the drive and the other swings, okay? The swing for the most part is exactly the same. All that would change now with ball position for a driver, would it be there? So your hands are very similar, but your hands now are slightly behind the ball because there's your kind of driver golf ball, okay? in terms of ball position for irons, okay, there's your 7-iron foot. There's your 5-iron foot. And if you went to a hybrid, maybe there's your hybrid foot. So the ball will now perceive to have moved forward because your stance has got wider. If you were then doing a little chip shot, okay, you'd probably bring your foot in a lot closer. There's your chip shot right foot. Now the ball's back in the stance. But it doesn't change from this front foot for most of the shots.
Right.
The foot goes, if that's your foot width there with a 7, you say it's just left of centre. Hybrid, it's certainly further forward of your stance. And then if we go to that chip shot, it's now near your right foot.
Yeah.
So the ball position perceives to move, and it does move relative to your chest. But all that happens is your trail foot goes from there to there or there, depending on the club and the shot you've got.
Okay.
But relative to that front foot, never really wants to change too much. Lob shots and a few specific type of shots, but generally a normal pitch or a full wedge or a full 7 or a full hybrid, it's pretty much the same spot. And again, less variance is always to try and control, yeah?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah? That kind of makes sense then, yeah?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Good stuff, very good, mate.